Alright guys, we're gonna be doing our functions today, and of course our assumption is that we're gonna start with the Eastern Cape, so somehow we're gonna be mixing the language of Eastern Cape, which is Xhosa in this case, for clarity purposes where there's a need. Alright, so as you can see here, we're going to start with explaining x and y intercept because they are the basics of functions, because we'll be dealing with functions today. Right. After that, we'll be doing on how to plot the graph or how to draw a graph and the requirements of each graph. Right. And after that, we're going to be interpreting the graph that we have spot and the domains and range. Cubic function, I think we'll deal, and inverse function we'll deal with that at a later stage. We need to focus on basics for now. Okay, let's try and start with number one, which is x-axis and x-intercept and y-intercept. Right. So let's say we have a given graph where you have y equals to 2x plus 3, and the original graph of this is given by that, which is y equals to mx plus c. C is a constant term, and this y-intercept is also y-intercept. And you also have a second graph where you have f of x or y equals to a x squared plus bx plus c. Your c is also your y-intercept. You simply take the c if you are having a parabola graph, or if you are having a straight line, you simply take c if you want y-intercept. Right. You also have exponential graph y equals to a b to the power x plus q, and q is your horizontal asymptote. I will explain that. You also have your hyperbola, and in your hyperbola you have equation like this: y equals to a is the numerator over x plus p plus q. Alright, let's start with the straight line. Okay, as we said that we're gonna be starting with x and y intercept, so it means that for this equation, which is a straight line, what are the requirements of plotting a graph? You need to have your x and y intercept. That means for straight line, you have y equals to, as that equation 2 is 2x plus 3. So it means that if I need y-intercept, I would simply take this one, this constant term, the term without x, that is going to be my y-intercept. So I already have y-intercept, so I'm going to have 0 for x, because where for y-intercept x should be 0, and 3 for y. So that is my y-intercept. But for a graph, I need two of them. I need x-intercept and a y-intercept, because the graph has to cut y and x axis. Right. So for x, I need to have y being 0. In this case, 0 equals to 2x plus 3. Right. And you simply take this to this side, and you end up having equation like that, and you divide by 2 both sides. X is equal to minus 3 over 2. So if you plot this, you're gonna have something like that. But what you have to consider first is it's where the graph will cut your y-axis. and x-axis, your graph is gonna cut your y-axis at 3, so you have to have 3 there, and your x value is negative 3 over 2. It can be a value that is here, negative 3 over 2, so that is your graph. So to plot this graph is simply as like that, as you can see. Secondly, what we have to consider for parabola, the same thing. We can be given a graph like y equals to, let's say, for simplicity purpose, is 2x squared, let's say, plus x minus, let's say, minus 5. Okay, minus 5 for simplicity purpose. Okay, is it minus 5? Should it be 9 minus 5? Let me think. Okay, let me say minus 3. Okay, so that means your y-intercept for this graph is 3. So you can simply go into your graph and put 3 there, because your parabola graph is gonna cut y-intercept at 3. Do you see? So what you need now is our x-intercept. What is our x-intercept? Where is the graph gonna cut our x line in this case? For that to happen, we need to let y be 0. Y is 0 equals to 2x squared plus x minus 3. Okay, so we can factor this out, or we can use quadratic equation to determine our x values, but in this case we can factor this out, I think. So open our 2 bracket, have 2x here, have x here. Okay, factors of 3 is 1 and 3, so we can, where should we have 3 on this side? Your last term. Okay, our 3 should be on this side, and I will explain on a later stage about why, and our 1 should be here. But the middle term is positive in this case, so which one is greater between 3 and 2? In this case, 3 is greater, meaning 3 should be positive and 1 has to be negative. I will explain this at a later stage. Okay, so this should be equal to 0, and this bracket should be equal to 0. X minus 1 is equal to 0, or 2x plus 3 is equal to 0 as well. So x is equal to 1, or I can just divide this here for simplicity purpose. I can have x equals to minus 3, because I'm crossing this to that side, over 2. Okay, so that is my x values. Okay, here I can say I have 1, and this is the same value. This is the same value, meaning they intercept here, those graphs. Okay, what else do I need for a parabola? It's a turning point. How do I get a turning point for a parabola? It's a simple way for a parabola to get a turning point. We have a formula where we have x equals to minus b over 2a. Alright, so in this case, I'm gonna solve this in the following video to minimize data.